Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of my hardcore Minecraft series. In today's episode, we're going to do something that has been a long time coming and something I rarely do on bases. I'm going to finish this one. So my first mega base, I'm going to get started. Something probably you guys know the feeling all too well of starting a mega base but never quite finishing it. But today, we're going to finish it. So let's get into it. Alright, trying to get a good view of what I've gotten done so far. So far I have completed the out kind of little barrier I've got on my staircase here, to try and get a little better view, as well as my rooftop. Had a little bit of a problem, had to redo a little bit of it because I misjudged the height of the world. This is actually supposed to have at least two more, but I actually messed up in the first time I was building it. And the flashback you guys saw was the second time me building it. I had to tear it all down and redo it just because I misjudged the Y level of the starting point down on the bottom. When I planned it in the test world, the one where you saw where I was building my bridge a couple episodes ago, or last episode, no, it was a couple episodes ago, um, I had a world in creative where I planned where my museum and things went, and I guess I misjudged by a couple blocks, and in the original one, it was probably down to like this level. So when I was building the top bit, I was wondering why the Lightmatica wasn't showing the top of the build. And then it dawned on me when I was pretty much done the entire roof, it's because I had the whole thing shifted by a couple Y levels. But now it's a little bit shorter than it used to be. Basically, to save myself from having to redo the whole build, I just, oh, we'll have to come through here. I lowered it down. So this used to be much higher, the rim of the bottom of it. So you might have noticed these were much taller, but I had to cut them down by like 5 blocks just so I could have that little bit of detail up here on the top, because I wanted to have this little thing. I'll probably replace this bit with a lightning rod just so none of this catches on fire. And I've still got a lot of spawn proofing to do because this snow doesn't actually stop anything from spawning. You can see here, you can't see it until it's broken, but mobs spawn up here like crazy, especially since I've basically spawn proofed the entire tower. If we come inside, basically everything is completely spawn proofed, even all the walls, the windows there are spawn proofed. I still got to spawn proof the top of those, but that is going to take a lot of copper. And speaking of copper, it's not really the copper that I have a problem with, it's having it waxed. And to solve that, I came down here and I started a little bit of a honeycomb farm. You can see it's been working away in the background. I've already got a couple wax trap doors. I've been using them. Let's see if we can see them out here. Looks like I haven't made it down here yet. Ooh, but we can see. Ooh, hitting that killed my momentum. But you can see I've started lighting it up with the trapdoors. Oh, that breaks it. But using the trapdoors and lanterns, these ones are needed because the corners are missing a little bit of light. To solve that, I used a bit of glow lichen on the walls because this whole thing is going to be a little bit mossy the longer it is in my world. So until I get that in, I'm going to use torches to fill those areas up. But we've got lots of honey coming in, so that's just going to go in the background. Same with all, you can just see it briefly there, that's all not spawn proofed. I've got my wool farm. I'm not sure if I showed this previously, but I've got 5 sheep now, which is producing a decent amount of wool. I used most of it on my museum build, so that's why we're kind of short right now, and the rest will go to the roof to keep it spawn proofed, which means, let's turn that off, I'll probably be able to have some mob farms up in the upper layers, because it's so high up that all the mobs on the ground aren't within the 128 blocks that are needed. But this is another thing that we've got going on. Just very simple. I'll just do a quick. It's basically the only one you'll ever see. If we remove a couple blocks in here, you can see the redstone in behind. So all it is a comparator reading from this block, and behind this block is the beehive. I'm using beehives, not the man-made ones, just because I had a bunch of these already. And once it gets a certain Y level, or a redstone level, you just saw it go off there. Once there's a certain amount of honey in these farms, it activates this, which gives enough power to reach to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, and then it hits this dispenser, which uses the shears to get the honeycombs. So if I wanted the bottles, all I would have to do is put a bunch of glass bottles in here. But let's close this up a little bit just to hide it away. And the nice thing about this one, I can stack it on top, and I've got lots of space. So I can easily set like three or four maybe, on top of each other. It just needs the grass, the flower, and dispenser. So it's only 3 tall, so I can just do 3, 3, 3, 3, and then have them all going into one chest if I need lots of honey, which I probably will, especially for my museum build. And speaking of that, let's go show off all the progress we've made so far. Alright, so here we're getting a good look at the museum as it is right now as the time of recording. By the time this video goes out, there'll probably be a lot more progress because I've been upping my streams to Mondays and Thursdays now, so I've been getting a lot more done on this. I can usually get about one of these wings done every stream, so if this episode is going out on Wednesday, that means Monday's stream has already gone and passed. You can go check that out on my Twitch for the VOD. And this wing will probably also be done. But let's go check in on the progress that I made a little bit on my last live stream. We started capturing some mobs. So we've got our creeper in here. We got a fully dripped out golden baby zombie, a regular zombie, and then a spider with some sort of potion effect. I'm not actually sure. That might be the new weaving effect or something, but they're all named. I kind of just asked for in my streams for naming of things. I haven't done any more passive, but a little update. I've lost my wandering trader again, so I'm going to need to figure out a way to capture these. But now with all the updates out of the way, we can get on to finishing the last couple details on the exterior. Obviously, I'm not going to be finishing all the interiors because that's all the different farms I'll need in this series, and I don't really need all of them yet. But one thing I do need, and probably the reason why I've waited so long to kind of get started on the end of this build, is mangrove. So I recently, on one of my live streams, went exploring for different biomes to see where I could finally get some of the different mobs and blocks, and I came across a mangrove swamp. So I grabbed a couple of the propagules, and I've started farming a little bit of mangrove. I don't actually need that much, only 5 stacks of mangrove planks and a couple trapdoors and such. So this should only be a couple minutes of farming, and then I should be ready to get the last couple external details. And then maybe we can do some more of the lighting, because I've got the lighting on the bottom, but then I've also got some campfires on the top to light up the top to avoid any spawns. So let's get to farming this, and then maybe by the end of this episode we'll have enough honey to wax all of the trapdoors, and we'll have enough to finish the lighting. Man, I wish there was a better way to farm these things. I will definitely be getting a mangrove farm going pretty soon. But I think that should be good to start. I need these 5 stacks, maybe a little bit more, and then these will go towards the trap doors. So let us get our happy gas. I'm going to need some snowballs, otherwise I might have to just faceplant into them. Got a couple lying around. And let's see. Okay, and now let's... It's a shame I'll be closing up these windows. I might leave some of them open and without glass for now, just because they're a lot easier to get into than the kind of walls or the doors on either side. But if we turn this back on, maybe we go all below. So now that's going to capture all these. These are all red because I replaced them with the slabs instead of full blocks. I did that all the way around. That took a mighty long time. But we're going to have these. I'm going to need some stairs and some fences. Ooh, that lagged a little bit. I guess it's because I've loaded in that one as well. We got too many things loaded in, so it's freezing everything. But we're going to get all of these. So we have one on every single floor, but it's alternating to each side. So we're going to get a little bit more on this, and then maybe I'll leave the glass for another time, or maybe I'll fill in a couple of the ones that don't really need me to get into. Alright, so it turns out that amount of wood only did 3 of the windows total. You can already see We've got some enemies spawning on these upper bits because they're not lit up properly. So we're going to have to gather a lot more than 5 stacks, it seems, which means a lot more mangrove breaking. Looks like I missed a couple logs in here, but we're going to sleep, gather a bunch more, and then hopefully this time we can actually finish it. And there we go. So we got our mangrove. It's kind of hard to see with the shaders. If we kind of plop ourselves down here carefully, you can turn off the shaders and you can see a lot better here. But it's just a little bit of color added in to these windows. So all I need to do is the glass on them. I'll probably do that much later because I still use these as the main doorways opposed to the ones I've got down here, which are just very, very boring squares. I'll probably use some stairs and such to curve it off. But we are looking pretty good for the progress of this tower. I think let's go check up on our honey farm. That didn't take too long, so probably not too much more. We got another stack going in here. So let's maybe make up a couple more trap doors. We're gonna need a lot of these. So that we're making the waxed, make lots of bars, and then lots of doors, because I'm gonna need basically infinite of these. Alright, and then let's put back the unwaxed versions for later use, and then these can get us started, and we can kind of start going up around if we turn back on the rendering. Looks like it's on a different version, so we want all. So we can go around and start placing these in, just like that, and then we can start removing these ugly torches. And then after that, we can maybe look for some campfires. I don't know how they're made. I think it's either coal or charcoal, which means I'm going to have to start cooking up some wood because I don't really have much coal on hand right now. And once we get that all done, I think that'll be the entire build structurally done. Obviously not functionally because I've got like 4 or 5 more floors, as well as, I guess we can go up and check it out. I'm not sure if I've shown this off yet. I mentioned it in the video when I built this whole thing. But up here, on this kind of thing here, if we turn off the shaders, I'm going to have my giant map of my world. And in the very center is going to be a beacon that's going to be coming up where my portal is currently. It'll be going straight through the center, and you can see that hole there. So it can go through, I think, slabs and then walls. So it'll go straight through, and the center I'm going to plan to have this build itself is I'm going to try and build around this area. So on the map, not too much will be seen. So far, all you'll be able to see is my museum, a couple starter houses, and eventually when I get my pure kind of village going, that'll be on there too. And it'll be able to reach probably quite far away. I'll probably start on the most basic maps, so it'll look huge at the beginning, but the longer I kind of live in this world, the smaller the maps will get because I'll add the paper and shrink them so that they can cover more per square. But it's a big area to start with, so I don't really need, and since I'm not really building too far away yet, I'm not really needing the really shrunk down versions. So let's get back to placing all these waxed copper trapdoors, and then let's get on to the campfires. Alright, so I've gotten all the lanterns and copper trapdoors going up all the sides. Now I need to make the campfires. So I looked up the recipe, and we'll go over here my crafting table. We check campfire. I need charcoal or coal, 3 sticks, and then 3 wood or logs. Now I've looked through all my logs, and I'm currently turning them into charcoal. I had 5 oak logs and like 12 cherry, so we're going to need to do a little bit of a material gathering of just logs. I'm not going to do the mangrove because that is a pain to gather. So we're going to go probably down here. Let's see, probably dark oak might be the fastest just because it grows into the chunks and it's kind of the easiest to grow. So let's grab a bunch of bone meal. And let's head down to the plains because I don't really have too much dirt up here. This is kind of where I've been doing most of my gathering of wood. As you can see, I've got some leftover ones. And we'll gather a bunch of the dark oak logs, turn what I need into charcoal, and the rest will be used to craft the campfires. So let's go! Alright, in hindsight, I probably should have calculated how many I needed. I only need just over 4 stacks, but I created a little bit too much. So let's go and toss. We need 66 total. So we got that much. So let's toss a stack into there, or half a stack and the other half into here. It would go a lot faster if I used all of these, but I don't want to waste the, well, I guess it wouldn't be wasting the lava for now. But let us get crafting. So we need 3 stacks for that, and then we need the sticks like this, and then the charcoal goes in the middle. So I need 3 stacks and a little bit more because I need 66 of sticks. So we're going to craft those, get the charcoal, and then make up the campfires, and then we can finish off on this build. Alright, quick stop off into the trial chamber because I have run out of actual copper, and I am not going mining for that kind of stuff. So let's just strip away some of these blocks, because sadly the cut stuff doesn't turn back into ingots. So I can't use a lot of the stuff I already have. So we're just going to snag a bunch of these regular blocks, and then that should be enough to craft all the trapdoors, because I have just a couple stacks shy of what I need. Let's just try not to activate any of the spawners that are kind of in the center there. We're just going to keep to the outskirts, and then everything, by the time we get back, should be cooked up. Alright, looks like our charcoal is ready, which means we get our 66 campfires. And let's make a bunch of these trap doors. Can these not be turned down? I guess maybe if we were to... And then if we break them again, now we can turn them back. So I have enough to make if I need to quickly stop off and craft all those. But with that, we can start getting the lighting done. So let's get to it. Alright, and we're taking a look at it at nighttime now just because we got all the good lights in. So we got the regular lanterns. We're going to come in and try and thread the needle. We got our regular lanterns on the copper trapdoors here. And then we have our campfires up there surrounded by the trapdoors, which took a long time to get all the honey, or I guess it's the wax, from the bees in order to wax them all so that they don't oxidize at all. These torches are here because there are some dark spots that I didn't actually prepare for perfectly, but they're going to be covered by glow lichen once I start aging up the tower. So right now it's kind of in the pristine kind of stage of it. Turn that back off. So as time goes on, I'll add more greenery, more vines, the glowing berries, all the kind of hanging moss from the pale oak forest, and it'll kind of age it up over time. But for now, we're in the pristine, brand new, just finished building. Still haven't added the glass. I might add it for some like the back windows, but for the front ones, I still very much use them to get into the build. So like for, especially like in these ones. Yeah, especially this one here. This is the most one I used. Ooh, sneak on through. So I've upgraded my honey farm here, just added a second layer. It's the exact same thing, just once more over, and it's pumping out that honeycomb. So it's just very simple. Left these areas open so I could add some more shears when I need them. My second level, just the exact same thing, just having the shears. I just gotta make sure that once it comes through here, it actually works, because it hasn't been running for too long, but it looks like we're gonna get some more honey pretty soon from these redstone. So I assume when this power reaches one further, it'll chop this and we'll get some more honeycomb out of it. Now I'm out here still fixing up all the gray wool, so if you can just craft some more carpets up, I'm still going around adding a little bit more in to do the mob proofing. I still have a couple more of these slabs I need to add lower down, but this is taking me dozens of stacks of the wool and crafting that into the carpet, so I've just been going along, placing them in just so that we get less spawns up here, because at nighttime, not sure why they're not spawning now, maybe because I proofed it so well, this becomes a massive mob spawner and a lot of, yeah, you can see we got an enderman down there, had quite a few creepers, yeah, we're starting to get the spawns in now, and they're just becoming a kind of a hassle, so I'll just come through here, add some more carpets whenever I get the chance. to kind of perfect the entire build in its entirety. But ooh, let's run away now. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode. We finally got our first mega base basically done. The windows are just kind of like an afterthought, and then obviously all the farms that'll eventually add in here, because we've got 1, 2, 3 full layers untouched. Not to mention, if we keep going down a little bit further, we have this one that's kind of just being used as the overhang from my carrot farm. And then I've got my whole book library area that I've got to start moving my good villagers in. Not that I'll really be needing them too much, just because it's not like this will ever break, and it's not like if I die, I can go and just pick my stuff up again, because this is hardcore. So maybe it's just more of a flex that I have all of the best villagers in this kind of area. But that's where we're going to leave it for today. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave a like and subscribe for more episodes coming soon. Until next time.